Welcome back to the locker room. I am Captain Paul. That is Fajardo. What's going on there, Fajardo?
Nothing. Look at another bright day.
I mean, torn, labral tear and all, I'm here. So let's get into it. We have a little bit of a different type of video. There's an article out about Gaudreau and Laine actually starting preseason on the same line. Mm-hmm. Before we get into the article, what do you think of that, Fajardo?
That's it's a lot of firepower on the line. It's going to be interesting to see if their games mesh. 'Cause a lot of times you can have two big superstars on the same line and it doesn't mesh well. But it's a good thing to be starting it off in the preseason where you can see if it meshes, where you can see if there's a possibility of chemistry building, because they may try it in the first game of preseason and be like, oh, it is absolute trash. No, we're not going to go this way. Or it may be like, okay, there's possibilities that can grow from here and see how everybody reacts to it, and then, go from there. But yeah, this is what the preseason's for. You get to adjust your lines. You get to take a look at some young players, maybe trying to fill in some spots, see if they can grow or be someone you can call upon if injuries happen or things like that. So, yeah, I just think it's a power move for Columbus, because they've had good players, but they've struggled having a power line, and I think that ends up being their downfall a lot of times when it comes to like playoff races, or even if they've made the playoffs, they just struggle because they don't have a focal line, like a line that can carry the offensive load.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with Columbus, and this even kind of rings back to the beginning of the franchise, right, where you had like a guy like Rick Nash, they have never been able to completely build around their cornerstone pieces. Mm-hmm. I think they've always had like that star or superstar level player, like you had Seth Jones even relatively recently. Now you have Gaudreau. I mean, they haven't been able to build properly around these guys. Now, Tortorella had those boys playing an extremely good defensive game. Like, Tort's very short shelf life, but if your team is kind of like average or mediocre, he is going to bring the best out of that team. That's the one thing I got to give Tortorella. But as for this Gaudreau and Laine article, it's a Laine article. We should get into it. So, Gaudreau, Laine to start preseason on same line for the Blue Jackets. Jenner likely to get first opportunity to play center between top forwards. Johnny Gaudreau and Patrik Laine will play on the same line to start the preseason, Columbus Blue Jackets coach Brad Larson said Monday. I'm going to try them right away, Larson said. I want to see if there's chemistry between the two. Again, it's not rocket science here, which, he's right. He played players. Gaudreau signed a 7-year, $68.25 million contract with the Blue Jackets as an unrestricted free agent on July 13th. He finished last season tied for the NHL second in the NHL with a career high 115 points, 40 goals, 75 assists, and 82 games for the Calgary Flames. Laine was so enthralled by the possibility of playing with Gaudreau that he signed a 4-year, $34.8 million contract. I mean, let's be honest, that's still a good hit for him. July 23rd, Laine had 56 points, 26 goals, and 30 assists in 56 games last season, so point per game. Larson had this to say: I think everyone thinks that they're going to do well together. I think the more that I use them together early just to get to know each other a little bit, the better. They've never played together. The next task for Larson is to decide which centers will play between Gaudreau and Laine. Boone Jenner, who's the Blue Jackets captain and entering his 10th NHL season, is an option. The 29-year-old had 44 points, 23 goals, 21 assists in 59 games last season. Larson said, I'm going to try a few guys in the middle. Who's going to start there? I might try Boone there right away. I haven't decided yet, but that would be my choice right out of the gate. Veteran guy, and I think he could complement them. Other candidates on the top line mentioned by Larson are Jack Roslovic and Cole Sillinger. Sean Corrali is expected to play in the third or fourth line. Roslovic, who played with Laine for the Winnipeg Jets through the 2017-2020 seasons, had 45 points in 81 games for Columbus last season, including 13 points in the final 10 games. Sillinger had 31 points in 79 games as a rookie. Jack plays with tremendous pace and has the ability to distribute. And Sillinger, he's a young guy, 19, and we'll see what he does. He does a little bit of everything well. The Blue Jackets play their first games of the preseason September 25th against the Pittsburgh Penguins in a split squad game. So, listen, I will say this. Sean Corrali ain't starting on the top line, so calm down. I love me some Sean Corrali, great third line, fourth line grinder. But let's get into this. I think they have a couple of decent options here. I think Boone Jenner, just based on last season, is way more upside, especially with the point per games if you look at it. But I think this has a chance to be extremely dynamic. And I'll say this for this reason, right? You had Johnny Gaudreau with 40 goals last season with 75 assists. Crazy, right? The great thing, he can score and pass. Laine, 56 games, had 26 goals, 30 assists. So you're probably looking at like a mid-30s goal score if he plays the whole season, right? Maybe around 40, 50 assists. Laine has a world-class shot. Would you disagree? Or, I mean, would you agree or disagree?
I would definitely agree.
Like, he has a world-class shot. He has been focusing on the past few seasons to become a better playmaker. I think it's actually been to a detriment with his point totals at times, but he's become a way better playmaker. So I think if you just get somebody in the middle that's a smart hockey player that can kind of feed and read the play, like a guy like Boone Jenner, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 60, 70 points next season between these two. You know what I mean? Because you're going to see a bump. Like Laine and Gaudreau are very good skill players. Gaudreau is elite. Laine, I wouldn't say is elite, but a star level player. Yeah. What are you thinking about them trying different centers, and who do you think will ultimately be that top center for that team?
This is what the preseason's for, but I definitely think that if you want to start running and gunning right off the bat, I think that maybe Roslovich. I think he might end up being the better option instead of Jenner. Not just because of the point total last season, but because of the familiarity with Laine already. Then it's just incorporating Gaudreau with the system. You see what I'm saying? So the chemistry might be there, especially because they played for 3 seasons together. So you had them. They already have a bond. They already have some chemistry. They now it's just adding Gaudreau to that. That might be a smoother transition than adding all 3 guys that haven't played with each other together.
Yeah, and I don't think you put a young 19-year-old kid at the top line. That's just that's a recipe for disaster. He played 79 games last season, did pretty well, but I don't think that's fair to that kid. Put him in a situation. Let him learn from those elite players. You know what I mean? I think that would be the best possible answer to all of this. So, you have anything else to say kind of regarding this? Because we're going to be recovering this team soon.
Yeah, this team will be covered soon in a recap. I agree with you on that. I don't think you put Sillinger up there just for the simple fact that if you put him up there, you're putting all the pressure of being a number 1 center, and that's not something that I personally like doing to kids. Like, he's still a kid. He's still 19. He still has to get his feet wet a little bit more before carrying that type of load. I'd say maybe in the next year or 2. But not right now. Not right now.
I mean, you put him in a situation to learn from 2, veteran guys. And I saw it with Boston with Patrice Bergeron. He wasn't the first line center out the gate. A couple seasons between the third and second line, and developed to one of like a Hall of Fame level player. I think that's what you do. You bring him along, and hey, let's say he's an absolute monster. Hey, give it a shot later in the season. But I think putting that much pressure on a young guy could either make them or break them. I mean, maybe Sillinger's a guy where that just, makes harder steel. We don't know. But let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think the possible center situation should be for the Columbus Blue Jackets between Laine and Gaudreau? Very interested to hear your thoughts. We, the locker room here, do a lot of hockey, a lot of soccer or football, and a lot of NFL coverage. And we're going to be putting some baseball in there as well when we get the chance. So, again, we're the locker room. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.